freaking first cut. Golly. Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your Farmers Recap episode. Joining me to break it all down, I've got him. It's Greg DuCharme. Hey, buddy.
I'm here, Rick, and it's surprising on a Saturday. It's our final round coverage of the Farmers Insurance Open. What a week it was! There was some incredible play. There was some brutal conditions out there, and I think it's safe to say that 30 under par season is beyond us.
8 under par would have won and did win the Farmers Insurance Open. There was wind around the South Course, plus thick rough, and those greens that for the last three, Greg, I'm not sure I saw a putt made for the last 3 hours. It was not a John Rahm birdie fest that he loves so much, or putting contest that he loves so much.
No, this was really the rounds 2 and rounds 4 were extremely difficult conditions on a golf course that, I mean, you know well, Rick, we've seen Torrey Pines South played a lot. You can have a perfect sunny day and it's as tough as it gets out on the PGA Tour. You add in conditions like this, cool. I don't even know if it touched 60 out there. And you add some, 15, 20 mile an hour winds and rock hard greens. It's a tough test. And the other thing that's fascinating to me, every time we go to Torrey, we're going to be back here again shortly in just a couple weeks for the Genesis. But the performance on short putts is so difficult. Even some of the top players are missing short putts because they're just they will snap. You get on the wrong side of those Poana bumps and it snaps off. So it makes scoring extremely difficult.
You see a lot. I don't know if I just noticed it more this week, but I feel like we got a lot of like the worm cam. Maybe just balls were ending up in a spot where they had a camera right behind it. So I feel like we saw a lot of those over the weekend or Friday and Saturday. And these guys, they just misread everything, or they were misreading a lot of putts. And that has always been my experience at Torrey Pines South, because you're like, well, it's either got to go towards the water or there's no way it doesn't move this way. You've got the POA. Like, it's just hard to read greens. And then when you start rolling it, keeping it in a straight line is also very difficult.
Yeah, if you had a robot out there, I'd be very curious to see. It'd be great if they did a test. I'm not sure a perfect putter would work. One of those ramps.
Yeah.
But I'd be very curious to see what would happen with a ramp or with some kind of mechanical robot to test how often does a putt that's perfectly struck go in. Yeah. Because sometimes they just get offline right away. And I'm not sure that sometimes it's a bad stroke and eventually it gets in your head. But it's not always a bad stroke. Then you wonder if he hit that putt again, would it get through that one point where it got offline early, and would it have held its line a little bit more? So, look, it's a unique challenge, and it leads to scoring like this. It makes it a grind. It makes it extremely stressful and downright exhausting for these players.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we've got a lot to get to. Unfortunately, we're going to have to start with guys that struggled over the final round or two. Let's start with Ludvig Aberg, Greg, because the last time that we chatted about Ludvig, he was nearly the odds-on favorite to win this after 2 rounds. I believe those odds settled about plus 140, so just under 50% in terms of implied odds for Ludi. He battled illness all weekend long. He shot rounds of 74, that's 2 over, and 79, that is 7 over par, which is what he just carded today. He drops to a tie for 42nd.
He fell during the 3rd round, yesterday's round. He battled back. He got off to a really weak start. He was 3 over through 5, and then made birdies at 6, 7, and 9. And this was when we were just learning that he was feeling under the weather. I think on Thursday night, I said he should win this tournament.
Yeah.
He's the guy here. And then you find out that he's not feeling well, which, that's brutal. I understand how that felt. I can't believe he even continued to play. But then he made a mistake at number 13, uncharacteristic wedge shot into the bunker. And then I think he 4-putted 14, which just to what we were just speaking about. I mean, and it basically took the tournament.
3 of them were from like 3.5 feet.
Yeah. So it's brutal, and it put him at 4 under par. Now you got a guy who's not feeling very well, heading into a really tough day, and he's 5 shots off the lead. Harris English really stretched it when he got to 9 under with birdie in the last 3 holes on his third round. So that was difficult for Ludvig. And then today it was more of the same. Just you could see some fatigue. He wasn't moving the same way. They didn't show him very often, but some uncharacteristic bogeys. And I'll say this, he has struggled on Sundays. I think there were 12 straight tournaments where he shot over par. I think it was 6 straight tournaments where he shot over par last year in the final round. That was something I was a little concerned about after his opening round here at the North Course when he took the lead. You know, it's a wait and see game. But when you get into that sickness, you get into these conditions, I think it leaves some excuses for Ludvig, and I'm not too worried about this 79, as disappointing as it is. I think we're going to see a new guy next week when he gets his body right.
Yeah, bookends the week with a 63 on Wednesday and a 79 on Saturday. Aldrich Potgieter, the 20-year-old South African who hits the ball a country mile, got himself in the mix in the third round by carding 4 deuces on the card. That is birdieing 3 par 3s and holing out on number 12, which in terms of strokes gained, picked him up like 2.5 shots to the field. 12 has historically been one of the most difficult holes on the PGA Tour schedule. So stealing shots there, that gets him into the mix. He enters the day on Saturday, the final round, at 7 under par. He birdies the first, and then I think maybe the world started spinning pretty fast. Hey, I'm at 8 under. Hey, I'm 20 years old. Maybe I'm about to snap off this PGA Tour victory. My life is about to change, because he doubles 3, bogeys 4, bogeys 5, bogeys 7, bogeys 11, bogeys 13, bogeys 16, salvages 1 coming in. That was the birdie on 18, meaningless there. It's a tie for 15th for Aldrich.
Yeah, number 3 is when this all starts going pretty quick, because he's got a bunker shot. He came up a little short on his approach. Probably lucky it didn't plug, but it is a ball below his feet lie, and he hits it thin and airmails the green. And now he's got a brutal shot that I thought he actually did pretty well, but it catches the ridge, ends up some 50 feet away. He ends up making double there. Barely misses the fairway at number 4, even though he hit it 357. He hit it into the rough, and a ball above your feet lie. I think he caught that one a little fat, ends up in the bunker, unable to get it up and down. And then on 5, loses a short iron into that green. It was a 7 iron, as a matter of fact. And when everybody's flighting that really low, he lost it up in the air and hooked it left. And ended up making a bogey there, and all of a sudden this thing it's over for him. It's done, and you could kind of get that sense. So he's really impressive. That length is going to go a long way for him. I think he can handle conditions like this. He did win the amateur, and he won on the Korn Ferry Tour down in the Bahamas as well. I can't tell you if he was dealing with weather down there, but it's typically pretty windy. Mm-hmm. So I think he can handle conditions like this, but this is what happens when young talent gets to the PGA Tour. They often are a little behind, lacking a little bit in their short game. And you may not see it on the practice range, but come Sunday pressure, the experienced veterans are able to perform much closer to their ability. And this is a little bit of a learning curve, which I think it's more of a learning curve than a technique thing. There was some talk on the broadcast about his technique. There have been players who have been very effective with the strong grip with their short game. You don't get to this level without an adequate short game. It needs to improve, like we saw today, but I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I like what you said about kind of that veteran savviness around the greens, because we're going to see that from the guy who ends up hoisting the trophy here. I've got a couple more minutes before I have to hit this break, so we're going to leave the guys on the podium for the other side, but I do want to get to Sungjae here first, Greg, because he really made a move up the leaderboard on Friday. That was the third round, and this was a very patient round. Remember, the South Course was playing well over par, and Sungjae goes out in 1 over. He makes bogey on 11 and 15, so he is 3 over, and then he birdies each of 16, 17, and 18 to get in at even par, which was a great score for the third round. And then here on Saturday in the final round, he one-ups that, shoots a 1 under 71 to post a 5 under total. That is not enough to win. Categorize it as another top 5, top 10 finish for Sungjae, but I thought, especially over the final 2 rounds, I was quite impressed with what I saw.
And he came out of the poor side of the draw as well. You remember on Thursday, he was playing the North Course when, typically that would be an advantage, but the North Course played pretty much just as difficult as the South. And he did the same thing he did in the third round. He birdied 3 of his last 5 holes to shoot a really respectable score. I remember we were on our halftime show pod on Thursday night, and it's like, wait, Sungjae second in the odds?
Yeah.
What, where did he come from? Well, it came from a really strong finish. Now, he had a real opportunity to get himself into contention here. He made a sloppy bogey on number 9. He was unable to go for the green in 2, and he had a wedge shot in of 120 yards, and it came up well short and right. That's not typical for Sungjae. So not only does he fail to give himself a birdie putt on a par 5, but he ends up making bogey. That's a killer. He also had a very uncharacteristic shot at number 1, which I didn't see, but looking at the shot trail, it looked like it may even have been a shank from like 150 yards. He hit it way right.
Yeah.
But then we see a little magic at 10 where he chips in, and 11 where he makes a putt from off the green. And now things are really rolling. If he was able to make this putt on 12, which I know is a brutal hole, but he had a great shot in there, had 13 feet for birdie. If he makes that, he gets to 7 under par, which is at 1 off the lead at that time. And I think everything changes. Maybe 13 changes, maybe the way you play 15 changes, but unfortunately it didn't go. And then, and he was unable to make another birdie after that. Did give himself a good look on 18 as well, but I think it's a really strong performance from Sungjae, especially considering he got the wrong side of the draw. And I think he'll be quite happy with this tied 4th finish.
Yeah, T4 right there with Chris Ventura. We've got 3 golfers on the podium. That's typically how podiums work. We are going to talk about those guys and much more. But first, a quick word, Josh, from our partners.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
And we're back. All right, tight. Lots of movement. These guys tied for the lead. Now it's a 1-shot lead. Now they flip. All that fun stuff from these final 3. Let's start with Andrew Novak, who had himself quite an unbelievable first 9 holes. It looks like an even par 36, Greg. I'm sure it was rather uneventful. Oh no, he goes bogey, birdie, birdie, par on the par 5, bogey, birdie. That is 1 par on his first 9. He bogeyed 10, so that is 1 par on his first 10 holes. He was clearly going through some things.
Yes, a fascinating round to watch. I mean, at number 1, he hit a bad tee shot, and it gets away from him. He ends up behind a tree and has to chip out. Understandable bogey there. A pretty pretty standard up and down opportunity. Didn't miss the green by much at number 2. Doesn't get that up and down. Then he starts playing like Andrew Novak, who, we've been fans of for quite some time, Rick. And I've been waiting for this kind of performance. And after he birdies 3, 4, and 5, I'm watching this guy. I'm thinking, who in this tournament is going to hit the big shot? Like this is going to be tight all the way down the stretch here. Who's going to step up on a hole that you don't expect someone to and hit it in there to 5 feet? And I thought Andrew Novak was that guy. But because I love the way he strikes his irons. I love the way he handles the wind. He hit some phenomenal shots today. The putt at 5 was ridiculous. And that's kind of the bonus. Even the shot he hit in there was right at the flag. There's just no stopping it. And ends up going 50 feet by. And then he makes the putt, which you may have seen on social media already.
Yeah.
But too many bogeys, and he didn't give himself the opportunity to hit that big shot because, well, he missed 8 greens out there, which is actually understandable. But he only got up and down 2 out of 8 times.
Yeah.
He was around the green on par 5s, unable to get it up and down. There was just no ability for him to convert any of these saves. It wasn't quite close enough on his chip shots. There was too much stress and too much pressure on those par putts. Putting isn't the strength for Andrew Novak as well. So I think he put too much stress on that area of his game today.
Yeah, this is one of those scenarios where we talk about this a little bit, but he has this crazy first 10 holes. He's still very much in the thick of it. He's got 2 par 5s ahead. He's got 13's actually a quite difficult par 5, but you've got some opportunities ahead here. And what he did is he just put himself in so many bad spots where it's like you can only make so many 8-footers for par, right? Like that is it's the opposite of like, okay, you have a guy who hits every approach to 10 feet. He's going to make some of those. It's like, well, when you hit every third shot to 10 feet, you're not going to make all those par putts. And you're just constantly going through that pressure routine of lining this up. And oh boy, I really need to save this. And it just, eventually it cracks. And then he missed on 15 in like the one spot that you can't miss. It's very difficult to get up and down from over there. And it just finally caught up to him.
And that was the time because Harris English had missed the green at 15 and Novak was 1 back. And now through all that, which is so true, what you said, like, he gets up and down at 11 from a ridiculous spot. It was one of his 2 up and downs.
Yeah.
But at 10, it's a pretty basic spot. He doesn't get it up and down. Both of those instances, he's 9 feet, 1 he's 11 feet. He makes 1, he misses 1. Very understandable. You could have easily missed both of those. But you come to 15, 1 shot back, and this is your chance to apply pressure. And the strength of his game lets him down. He misses left. Now it ends up a lot farther left than he missed it by, but you can't miss that flag a yard to the left, right? You want to be aggressive, but that's the one thing that can't happen. And it unfortunately did. And it eventually cost him the tournament.
Yeah. Andrew Novak solo third, 6 under par, 2 shots off the lead. Sam Stevens tried to post and wait because he finished up about an hour before the final group did. And this was such a fun round. He turned in 32, Greg. That is 4 under par. He made bogey on 13, which I already mentioned. That's not the end of the road. It's a difficult par 5. He birdies 17 and he pipes one down the fairway on 18. So let's think about this, Greg. He is sitting at 7 under par. I believe when he's in the fairway, the lead is probably still 8 under. I believe.
Yeah. Yes, I think it was 8 under.
But we know the leaders and stuff. They still have holes to play. Like there's still opportunities this could go sideways. He's trying to post 8 under. He became the first player of the day to try to go for the green in 2 on 18 and hit it in the water. It comes up short, lands on the hill, rolls into what's it called? Devlin's Billabong or whatever it's called.
The water,
which is quite small in person. It looks a lot bigger on TV. It's very small. And then he goes, so right, let's just pause right there. Like, he looks nearly flawless all day long. He is in the middle of the fairway. He hits a drive in an A+ position. He knows, like, everybody knows how to play this hole. You kind of hit it long, let it run down the hill, whatever. He becomes the only guy to hit it in the water, and it's the one with the tournament on the line.
Hit 204 yards into the green. Now, there's a beauty to the design here, because Andrew Novak, what exactly did Andrew Novak have into that green? I'll tell you, he had 231. So Andrew Novak was a little farther out, 30 yards farther back, basically 27 to be exact.
I see where you're going with this.
Right.
Okay.
So he hits a big high fade with, I think he was trying to take something off of the club. So he clubs up. It lands on and barrels over the green, and he ends up making par. So you're in this position where you can't get it close to that flag. It's not going to hold. You can land it right next to it. It's not going to hold. So how much risk do you really want to take on here? This is the Jon Rahm putt, right? You have to hit a great shot just to get the Jon Rahm putt from the back of the green that breaks 3 different ways.
Right.
It's extremely difficult to make an eagle at that hole location, and nearly impossible. So, he probably hit the right club. I know they were saying on the broadcast he hit the wrong club, but it came up like 2 yards short.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been he hit it at the wrong time and the wind stands it up just a little bit. To take one more club, you're probably, if he had 204 to the flag, he's hitting a 205 club. It's probably a 6-iron. To hit a 5-iron, you're probably going to like a 225 club, right? Where you're just kind of blasting it over the green,
right?
And you're more precise with your distance when you hit one hard rather than hitting one soft. Surprising as that may sound. So it's just a tough shot, a tough situation. He comes up a yard short, but ends up also making par, nearly holing it for birdie. So I think it was the right decision.
That's the thing. He's not even close to done yet here, Greg. He decides to go back so he can kind of take it back online as far back as he wants to go. It's a yellow line there. And he opts for about a 30-yard shot, 91 feet, 2 inches. It looked to me like it was a little bit on a downslope. He opens the blade up. He whips this thing in there, smacks it right into the flagstick, and it sits down 4 feet from the hole. He makes that putt and makes his par. So he gets out of there making par in the most unconventional way that we saw anybody make par this week.
Yeah, it was spectacular. I mean, that shot, he's going over like the corner of the water of that tiny pond, right? He's got to carry some of that. And if you go left, I know it's a 30-yard shot, you're not going to hook it. But if it goes left at all, it's something we saw Bryson do at the Masters last year. He was to the right of 15 and he hit it into the pond.
Oh,
right. So
yeah.
It's like, it could happen. If you come up short on that line, it could kick left into the water. So it's not an easy shot. And the lie there, he's not in the normal fairway cut. He's in the approach cut, which you could tell is so tightly mown. And he clipped it perfect. And I don't know if it missed the flag, if it would have ended up closer. It looked like it had a ton of spin on it. And he gets it up and down. It was a phenomenal round and a phenomenal shot. But here's the thing about 18, Rick. He was over the green in 2 on Friday, round 3. Made double. Killer. If I'm Sam Stevens, I'm ruining I keep wanting to say Saturday, the Friday night mistake on 18 green. not the Saturday night mistake on 18.
They all add up the same at the end of the week.
So it's just a killer. But he would have been, if he even makes par on 18, saves himself 2 shots, he would have been at 5 under, still wouldn't have been in the final group. Yeah, I mean, this is just a disaster from Friday night. That's a tough chip. I'm not saying he should have made birdie from there, but he leaves it short in the rough. That's one mistake he can't make. And then he did kind of what Ludvig did, missed a couple of 3-footers. Just absolutely killer because he lost by 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of circles on the shot tracker there. Sam Stevens, solo second, shoots what was the round of the day, that 4 under 68. So he did put it to good use. Comes up a little bit short here, but hey, I think he'll take the result. Our winner, steady as they come. I felt like I've seen this movie before. Harris English cards a final round 73 that is 1 over, which featured, Greg, 12 consecutive pars to end this round. I thought I was watching that Travelers Championship playoff from a couple where him and Kramer made like 8 straight pars in the playoff. Like that, I'm like, all this guy does is make pars. Well, guess what? Par's a good score at the South Course this week.
Par's a really good score at the South Course. And I just think about how many up and down. I mean, he had 4 greens on the front 9. So he gets it up and down, I think 3 out of 5 times. On the back 9, he misses 4 greens, gets them all up and down. It was just an incredible short game performance. What's so interesting about this is on Patrick and I were on HQ in the preview of this, and he was already on the course and had made bogey at number 5, and they were asking, what does he have to do to get back in this thing? And the answer to that question was he's got to hit fairways. He's got to start getting the ball in the fairway, because all of a sudden everything gets easier from the fairway, right? At number 5, he had a terrible lie in the rough, and the thing shot out straight left on him. And he ends up making bogey there. You can't play. He doesn't have the club head speed to play from the rough. Or so I thought, because he went on to miss. Let's see. So that was at 5. He missed the fairway at 6. He missed the fairway at 9. He missed the fairway at 10. He missed the fairway at 12. But he didn't make another bogey. He missed the fairway at 15. He missed the fairway at 18. And he didn't make another bogey. The scramble in performance was just spot on from Harris English. Those short game shots he made look easy. Everybody else was hitting him to 6-7 feet. He was hitting him to tap in. It was just spectacular.
It was even more contrastable. I don't know if that's the word, because he was doing it alongside Novak. And it's just, you can see Novak is in full grind. Like, okay, I got to get this one up there, give myself a chance. Maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. And Harris English is just, okay, yes, I've missed the green, but I've missed it in the correct spot. I'm going to play the high percentage shot to a couple feet here. I'm going to go tap it in. And it didn't ever really feel that stressful. No,
because he didn't hit himself into those spots where you have one area where you can land it. Like, 15 is a great example. Novak missed left on 15. Sungjae missed left on 15. There's like one, there's perfect, or it's 15 feet or back at your own feet. Right. He didn't have any of those. So he's chipping straight up the green on many occasions. He's got plenty of green to work with. If he went long, he was long left with a right flag. And his touch was fantastic, and his energy, it was so steady. He was so cool. He never seemed panicked. And perhaps for Aldrich, this is the perfect guy to play with, because if you could put the club head speed that Aldrich has on Harris English,
my God,
with his temperament, it would be it would be dangerous. And then again, back to the veteran aspect. He hits the last 3 greens. He makes it stress free. He knows what he has to do, and he does it. He gets the job done. It was as professional a round as you could have. One last thing, Rick.
Please.
This is important because we're coming back here.
Yeah.
We said this at the beginning on Monday. The most important thing here is scrambling.
Yeah.
You have to be able to scramble. Harris English, 22 of 27 in scrambling for the week and leads. It's the only stat that he led in, scrambling. It's so important on the West Coast because you can hit it great and hit 10 greens. It's unbelievable.
That was cool. Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, so this makes 5 wins. Let's play the game. Let's name the 5 wins, Greg. Now I'm looking at the list, so you're going to have to do the heavy lifting here. I will tell you that his 5 PGA Tour wins go back 12 years. They go back to 2013. So let's see how many of these we can get.
All right. So I know he won at Kapalua and the Travelers. Those were in 21.
We're 3 and 4. I'll give you the one for today. That's number 5. I think you know that one.
Yep, I know that one. Farmers in 24. He won in Memphis. FedEx. No, it wasn't a playoff event.
That was
It was
correct.
probably before the U.S. Open.
This was his first win, 2013 FedEx St. Jude Classic, correct?
What was his second win?
So you're only missing one.
Yeah.
Which is the one that I did not remember.
Fall? Was it in the fall?
Oh, I think it was.
Is it still? I don't think this is it. I keep wanting to say Sanderson Farms.
No. Well, I have Patrick McDonald available if you'd like to phone.
Bring him in. Phone a friend.
All right, run him up, Patrick. Just in the nick of time. Hello, sir.
Greg, I want to thank you so much for calling me. You're crushing it on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire right now. This is a tough question.
You actually sound like you're on the phone.
Yeah, before you go on, switch to the correct microphone, and then we will.
No.
Well, it works for the bit, but
yeah, the bit, it's working great for the bit.
Is it better now?
yes.
Yeah, there you go. All right, now let's rock.
Greg, I'm leaning towards a golf course that our own Rick played recently. I believe Harris English won in Mayakoba.
Oh, that's it.
He did. Yes.
Yeah.
In 2013, he won FedEx St. Jude. He won in Mayakoba. Then it was 8 years. 2021, the Century Tournament champions. He won twice that year. Travelers, which was that long playoff that we discussed. And then, of course, this week, he actually lost in a playoff at the Farmers Insurance Open in 2015. He fell to Jason Day. Then he is also the king of the QBE Shootout, an event that he has won 3 times with Matt Kuchar.
I remember most in 2021, unfortunately, that back 9 with Bryson DeChambeau in Memphis.
Oh, that's good.
That was the peak of like the animosity against Bryson. Everyone was calling him Brooksy. And they were just throwing up everywhere on that back 9. He had a shank, I think, on the 11th hole, like the par 3, straight into the water.
Yeah. How are you, Patrick? Did you get all your writing done?
I did. I'm good. PGA show was good. I just got home from it, which
that was like a week ago.
Yeah, I know. It was a complete kerfuffle traveling home, Southeast America. You throw one snowflake on the ground and everything goes in disarray. I guess that's what I'll say.
I'm assuming you walked home with how long it took you.
So I was supposed to fly out Thursday. I got a notification on my phone at 4 a.m. that my flight at 6 a.m. was canceled. I kind of freaked out, didn't know what to do. I thought, okay, I can get a hotel room here and then fly home. I could get a hotel room in Atlanta and then fly home the following day. But I decided to just fly to my parents' house. spent a couple days there, and then flew home this morning.
Well, we're glad to have you
There
in
you
the
go.
friendly confines of your own place.
Yeah, no, I thank you. And I heard Greg say it was a very professional win. I felt like I was watching a 6-inning outing from Jamie Moyer this afternoon.
Nice.
Just wheeling and dealing.
It was a pitcher's duel out there.
Yeah.
Just painting corners, not taking any chances, not going for just trying to get the roll
Pitching
over
to
to shortstop.
contact.
I don't need strikeouts here.
He could be a pitcher.
Yeah.
He's built like a pitcher too.
And Potgieter was that closer, the new era way of pitching where they bring the closer in the first inning.
Yes, the opener.
Yeah. Oh, that okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
No,
It has
he's
a name.
like, who is that pitcher? He pitched for the Yankees and the Reds. He threw like 150 miles an hour.
Chapman.
Yes. That's just unbelievable speed.
I throw it 105, but I have no idea where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Pot. Is it Geeter? Potgieter?
We're gonna have to get Mark to give us the proper.
Yeah. So there's in his bio, there's a phonetic, and it's Pot, P-O-T, G-E-E-T-U-R.
Potgieter.
Potgieter, which actually makes sense if you look at it.
Right.
But I'm sure that there's like an accent in it.
Yes.
Potgieter.
Yes. Yes. There's
That's why we
an
need Mark.
emphasis on a syllable that is, we
Right.
couldn't even fathom at this point. Okay, well, unfortunately, we have to recap the bets, but it'll allow us to talk about more golfers. It's pretty ugly on that side, but then we have news to get to, which we will do. Joshua, after a quick word. Well, that was quick. We are back. All right. It was not necessarily a banner week for the wagers. We had no Harris English anywhere on the board. We were live for a while with some of these finishing positions, yet the final 2 days, I want to call it the weekend. I know that it was Friday and Saturday. Did not go well for us. Mark did get Sam Ryder inside the top 40 at plus 185. That helps. And Patrick remains perfect in his TGL wagers as the Atlanta Drive outlasted New York Golf Club for their first victory in TGL history.
What a moment. Where were you? And the first shutout.
I will never forget where I was.
I was in my hotel bed, about to fall asleep.
I was on my couch thinking, am I really watching this right now? And I was. We got a couple of pushes in matchups. I think the thing that was most surprising, and Greg, one of the things that we talked about at the halfway point is I was really interested to see what the Jason Day Hideki Matsuyama tandem was going to do over the final two rounds. They were just kind of lurking. It was clear that the lead was not running away. It was clear that the golf course was going to be pretty difficult over the final 2 days. Both of them had their runs. Hideki played quite well early in the third round. He was 3 under through 7. He got in at 70, which was 2 under, but struggled on Saturday in the final round. Both Hideki and Jason Day both shot 76s, which those were two guys that I was keeping an eye on. Surprised to see them both go the wrong way down the board.
Yeah, I was surprised too. And Jason Day specifically, I had him here for a top 20, and he was very close to that, and probably should have. He finished 2 shots out of that, out of a top 20. So 74 gets him inside the top 20 today. He lost 5.7 strokes putting this week. Perhaps this is my fault, because he did mention last week after the American Express that, the ball wasn't sounding right off the putter. It was making a little sound. I thought that was something he would get cleaned up pretty quickly. I loved the way that he hit the ball, and he hit the ball pretty well again this week. He was 10th in strokes gained tee to green.
He did again. I know.
Yeah. So it's very unlike Jason Day to perform that way. But look, I thought he did a really nice job, especially on in the third round. He got off to a little bit of a rough start. He's 2 over through 6, ends up posting 70. He made some birdies. There's a lot of good stuff going on with Jason Day.
He's gonna get me, Greg, at Pebble. He's gonna. There's enough time. There's an extra day for me to forgive him. There's an extra day for me to think about. He's gonna get me again.
You got to love the ball striking right now.
It's been and he's such a good part. Like, yes, I trust him to figure that part out, and he is hitting it so well.
Yeah, I don't think it's broken. He's not going to lose 6 strokes putting again. Right?
Oh his Pebble record's insane.
It's insane. He's made it. He has a career. He has like a legit career in these 2 weeks. Like we could go through it, but like there are probably guys that are really good that don't have the wins and top 10s and money earned for Jason Day at these 2 events.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Who was the top? Our bonus bets, we missed every single one of them. We're off to a horrible start. But who was the top Frenchman? Victor Perez was.
Oh, you know who was working? I believe Antoine Walker.
Rosner.
Close. Antoine Walker used to play in the NBA, I believe.
Yeah.
Antoine Rosner was the name you were looking for there.
Who was doing really well. Where did Rosner finish? Oh, tied 48th.
Yeah, he was 67, 76, 74, 75. Tristan Lawrence, top 30. No. Luke Clanton missed the cut. No, he nearly won the golf tournament. And then KH Lee, all of Patrick's bets were basically decided. One was decided on Tuesday. One was decided 5 minutes after the tournament started on Thursday morning. I like Wednesday. Yes, thank you. I like that he gets these out of the way early. KH Lee made a par on his opening hole, number 10 in round number 1.
And shot 5 under.
He played great this week.
Yeah,
I was cracking up watching him. Not that it had anything to do with just like I guess he didn't make bogey on 10.
There was nothing to suggest KH Lee would play good this week. He has missed a zillion cuts in a row. He's never made a cut here. The only thing out there in the ether was this bet, and he has his best week in a long time.
What I did love is that he parred 10 and immediately bogeyed 11, and I was like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So,
but it's pretty interesting, Patrick. Harris English, why would you have picked you would have picked him just because he's played well here. He plays well these types of hard golf courses. But there wasn't a whole lot of, like we're talking about with Jason Day. There's great reasons for him next week. Not the case with Harris English, Sam Stevens, Andrew Novak. Sungjae Im is maybe the only exception in like the top 10 where there's a real reason to play him. Like who really you knew were going to play well. Maybe Taylor Pendrith, still a little bit of a stretch. He hasn't been in his best. Lee Hodges.
Of course. Yeah, your boy.
My boy from last week. Gosh.
Now I'm disappointed most with Keegan. I think he kind of like Jay Day. I think he hit the ball good enough to win.
I had like every investment in Max Homa this week. He didn't even make it. Ooh. Yeah. First he was I didn't even get a moment of a sweat. He tripled the first hole.
Yeah, done.
It was immediate ejection. He did not have a position on the leaderboard the entire existence of this tournament that wasn't like dead last.
Terrible.
He was hitting it good too, right? Before.
I mean, it looked like he was getting better. I mean, I guess now, I guess I could just say he was sick and forgive him. But it was pretty ugly. And was he?
He WD'd because he couldn't make the cut, right?
Yeah, well, he was.
It
They
was, it
stopped,
was the wind delay.
yeah, there was the wind delay. He wasn't going to make the cut. It was horrific.
And you captained him in your
Everything.
Tour fantasy, right?
Everything. Yeah, I think I had him in like every one and done.
See, I didn't captain him.
Wrong.
I ended up captaining Keegan, so I was watching him closely too, Patrick. And
Yeah, he was my one and done.
yeah, it was frustrating. Could have been so much better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, granted, you can't get greedy with the 60-foot eagle putt on the very last hole.
Yeah.
But
Well, I got him
there
under
were-
par at least.
Yeah, there were moments where I was like, this was Keegan Bradley's tournament to win.
Some
Rick,
news.
who's going to be popular next year or next week? Sorry, go ahead. I'll shut up.
Jason Day. Jason Day will be popular next week. Colin will be popular at Pebble in a signature event.
Okay.
Maybe like a hoagie.
Yeah.
I think it's finally his time though, guys.
Colin,
Scheffler's.
Justin Thomas.
he'll be pretty popular.
All right, I'm
Not
going
that
speed.
popular though. Everybody's there. Rory will be there.
Now that you just said it.
Dustin Johnson would have been popular, but he doesn't play there anymore.
Okay.
His record's very good at Pebble.
Very.
Speaking of upcoming weeks, Scottie Scheffler has committed to both the Pebble Beach and the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So it appears, Greg, as if the number one player in the world is ready to make his hashtag comeback.
Yes. Now, is he going to play at Torrey for the Genesis? Is he going to play like Phoenix?
4 weeks in a row?
Well, he's only got 2 that he's committed to.
Mexico.
He's not going to play Mexico. No. So you got Pebble, Phoenix, Genesis. He normally would do those 3 in a row. Mexico,
then break.
Then we're in Florida. Which might be the Cognizant first.
I think there's an event there, and then it's like players API. So he'll play all 3 of those.
That's what I would hope. Interesting that he committed to Bay Hill, probably because he's the defending champion. So yeah, hopefully we get to see a healthy bit of Scottie over the next couple of weeks. I really think this is going to be fine once the wound heals. I don't know if I'm going to jump all over Scottie winning at Pebble because there may be a little bit of rust to shake off.
If he wins at Pebble, these guys are screwed.
Yes, they have to get him now.
if he wins at Pebble, they should just kick him off the edge of the cliff because that's the only chance they're going to have moving forward. They're so screwed if he wins this.
And he still could. It fits his game perfectly.
Everything does, Greg. He's the best player in the world.
At the halfway point last year.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He might win.
I don't do this often, but I'm just patting myself on the back.
The Scoopman?
Rick Scoopman.
Yeah, Rick, what do you prefer? Because I'm seeing everyone going Rick Scoop good. I call it just Scoopman.
I usually live within the run good Scoopman, or the run good Scoop good, but I really like Scoops DuCharme. So I like Rick Scoopman. I think it's funny.
Oh, there he is, rounding second base. It's Scoops DuCharme.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was just 4 days. Who beats the official news by 4 full days?
And got it right.
They actually took the idea from your post.
Oh, they had no clue what they were going to do.
We hadn't thought of that.
Monty was like, whoa, this Scoopman fella, get him on the council ASAP.
If you don't know what we're talking about, the Genesis Invitational will be played at the South Course, only at Torrey Pines. I will say this. I'm benching Rick Gehman for a while. I don't like it. Is so high risk for no reward. It is stressful. It's not worth it in any way. Rick Gehman will be on the bench for the foreseeable future.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, because I think in this day and age, there's a lot of people who throw scoops out there that just don't care if it's right or wrong.
That's true.
Right?
True.
It goes viral. It's a win.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not. So at least we have some integrity in your non-journalistic journalism.
Exactly. I do care. So now I have to retire is basically the way that it works. But just the South Course, Patrick. So it's, it will be interesting because it's not a back-to-back. There's obviously a couple of weeks. So the course will be able to heal a little bit. They can make any changes that they want, but a smaller field on just the South Course only, and presumably Tiger.
I don't know, Jim.
He would have played Riv, right?
I think it's up in the air.
Okay.
I would say, if we're in the scoop business, which you just left, I'll enter. I will say 30% chance he plays.
Oh, wow. That low.
I had
Do
it
you
higher
guys
than that.
think higher? You guys are thinking above 50%?
I'm done. I'm done giving scoops. I don't know. I just kind of assumed he would. I just kind of assumed. Maybe I'm wrong to assume that.
No, I assumed he would too.
Then I'm wrong.
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Honestly, the thing is, it could be 30% and it still hits. Right?
Correct. Because
just say it's like that I was wrong.
Say it's like 40-60. It's like, well, I told you there was a 60% chance it wasn't going to happen.
This is the Weatherman model.
Correct.
30% chance it does not rain.
Do you guys want to talk about Rick Shields signing with Liv, but as an ambassador?
No.
Okay.
But I'm happy for him. Congratulations to Rick.
Sure, it's great for him. You want to talk about anything else?
No, I do know Liv has kind of like a media powwow this week. So up in New York, meeting the new CEO.
Are you going?
No, I was invited, but after my traveling fiasco last week, I don't think I could have gotten it expensed quick enough. I wanted to go, but
can you zoom in?
It was an option at first, and then it was not. But I was mostly going to go so I could skirt up to Connecticut and see my boy, Scoops DuCharme.
Scoops DuCharme. It's the best.
It's here, my neck of the woods.
Greg, do you ever feel like, is it a blessing or a curse to have a second capitalized letter in your last name?
Well, it depends on how passionate you are about it.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think it. If I see my name written without a capital in there, I'm not offended by it. It's cool for a signature.
Oh, it's so cool.
It makes it a little more recognizable. So I would say it's a blessing.
It is.
Now, if you get offended if somebody misspells it, then that's kind of on you.
So wait, I'm the only one here who doesn't have
DuCharme or DuCharme growing up? What are the common mispronunciations?
DuCharme, DuCharme. Those are probably the most common. Which the E on the end is the one that
should have told us that one.
Yeah.
DuCharme.
Scoops DuCharme.
Oh gosh, it's like, what? Really? I get DuCharme, but those are the most common by far.
Patrick, has anybody ever mispronounced your name?
I get McDonald.
Patrick McDonald.
Yeah. But that's really the only one. Josh, can you pull up this one comment from Steven Sandoval? I say we talk about Patrick's shoes while interviewing Jeter.
Yeah, how was Derek?
So Derek was great. I learned very quickly that he wasn't going to give anything good to a guy in a quarter zip at a golf convention after dealing with New York media for 2 to 3 decades.
Seasoned pro at answering anything that comes at him.
Yes. But I will say, I brought up this comment because Mark wrecked me in our group chat about my shoes.
Yeah. Well, what was wrong with the shoes? I guess I'm getting wrecked if I don't know what the problem was.
I liked them. They're comfortable.
They were like penny loafers. Did they have
loafers?
Did you have a penny in them?
I did not. Maybe that's why I didn't get anything good out of Jeter. I will say his so I cropped the other guy out of all the photos, the founder of the company that he was there shelling clothing for. Greatness Wins. Give him another plug. And the other guy,
look at this professional photo.
You can
Zoom
see
us in on that, Josh. Can you give us the full screen?
You can see the guy's leg on the right next to Jeter. And so I come off. I just finished interviewing Kerry Haig from the PGA of America. Derek's waiting for me. It's like, hey, how you doing? We're kind of just shooting it back and forth. And then this other guy comes in. He's getting mic'd up. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? He's the founder of the company. And I go up. I'm like, hey, I'm Patrick. I'm going to be talking to you up there. He's like, who are you? Why should I care? And what do you do?
No, he did not say that.
I swear to God. And I was like, damn, dude. Okay.
Read my badge.
Wait,
like,
who was this guy? Are you going to out him?
It was the founder of the company that Jeter was there for.
Yikes.
It was like the rudest thing that has ever happened.
Did you ask him about the Wagoneer commercial?
No, I forgot so much up there. I didn't ask him about that. I didn't ask him about the Charleston River Dogs, a minor league baseball team here that was a former Yankees affiliate. But I think
that's probably a good thing.
The only thing I would say about those shoes is, I can't pull off those little tassels, but I think you can.
Thanks.
I don't know what Mark wears to interviews.
You also don't have a quarter zip on. That's full zip.
That's a vest.
Yeah. Full zip vest.
Yes. Also, Patrick met Johan the wine lover.
Oh, I saw that picture.
And Johan got a shout out on the broadcast this week.
Oh, did he?
Coming up. Yeah.
Mark and Trevor's father. That's a picture of Mark with Sam Stevens wearing that sponsored content.
Johan told me next time I see Mark, who I've never seen in my life, to tell him to put fertilizer on the top of his head because he's starting to lose it.
That's pretty funny. That's a good Immelman. That's a good Immelman joke. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Good to go. What a week.
A day off. Enjoy your Sundays.
Who you guys got tomorrow?
Eagles, Chiefs.
Oh, I'm going Commies and Bills.
Commanders are fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong, but I had at the beginning of the year Eagles Chiefs.
Oh,
so I'm gonna roll with that.
Wow, Greg.
Yes.
You're on the wrong show, Greg.
I had the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know. The Eagles and Chiefs. Everybody picked that.
What a call.
Remember when I said the Redskins were going to the Super Bowl?
No.
Was that in the early 80s?
When they lost to the Steelers. Super Bowl preview. Almost.
They could.
Okay. We will be back on Monday, which is not tomorrow, but the next day. And that will be the Pebble Beach DFS show. Then we'll do Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, like our normal cadence that we've been rocking with. For now, big thank you to producer Josh. He does all the hard work behind the scenes. Patrick McDonald at P McDonald CBS. Greg DuCharme at The Real GFD. And you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.
Scoops.